The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
Makara, a crypto robo-advisor registered with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, has launched to its 20,000-strong waitlist, claiming to be the first of its kind registered with the SEC. Their app will offer 6 thematic baskets of assets specifically weighted to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and decentralized finance tokens. Joining us now to discuss is Makara CEO, Jesse Proudman. Welcome, Jesse.
Thanks for having me.
So Jesse, how does this crypto robo-advisor work, and what is the investor profile? What does it look like?
Yeah, just coming back from Bitcoin 2021, it was pretty obvious there are millions of users here in this ecosystem that understand this asset class. But all of us are receiving messages day in, day out from our friends and family who, quite frankly, find this entire asset class too confusing. It's too hard for people to participate here. Everything's named the same thing. You have to learn a whole new language. And on top of all that, the volatility is quite scary for most people. So our thesis with Makara was, could we take sort of the familiar concept of thematic ETFs that people have become accustomed to in traditional investing and bring it to crypto without the ETF component? We want to make crypto more accessible to a new market participant that isn't already here.
So Jesse, welcome. How are you able to model a crypto portfolio as a robo-advisor, given the relatively short track record of things such as DeFi? How are you able to allocate or to suggest allocations to people? And are you looking at their overall portfolio or just crypto itself?
Great question. So Makara is powered on technology we've been using within a company called Strix Leviathan for the last 3.5 years. Strix is a systematic hedge fund operating in the space. And so using that technology, we're able to build these model portfolios, or thematic baskets, as we call them, in an algorithmic or systematic way. So a basket is effectively a combination of market selection and rebalancing criteria. So DeFi, for example, we put through a market selection and identify the appropriate markets for the basket, and then a rebalancing criteria that allows an investor to effectively make one decision: I will invest in this basket, and let that basket then handle all of the allocations to the asset class directly.
So you have accomplished the feat of being SEC registered. Can you tell us a little bit about that process? Was that extremely difficult? What were some of the challenges in getting through the SEC process?
Yeah, it's actually been a really exciting endeavor for us. So we've taken an effort over the last 3.5 years in the original Strix Leviathan business, and now with Makara, to really approach this asset class with the regulated first approach. I think a lot of firms in this asset class have identified regulatory arbitrage opportunities and have done everything in their power to avoid regulation because it's hard. And we think that it's an okay way to get started. It's sort of the Uber model. But over time, it's more important to begin to embrace regulation and bring this asset class more into the mainstream. So we were able to leverage all of the experiences we've had over the last 3.5 years as we put together our application. And then we found the SEC really to be quite progressive in their approach. So where many state regulators may be a bit laggard in their interpretation and understanding of the rules, the SEC has been here for the last number of years in the trenches with this asset class, beginning to understand. And so I truly believe there's an appetite for firms who can take that regulatory first approach and that can solve a big hole in the market that we have today.
And is Makara actually holding on to the crypto and holding it on in the robo-advisor work?
Yeah, good question. So as a SEC registered RIA, we have a fiduciary responsibility to work with a qualified custodian, and the qualified custodian then holds on to the client's capital. So in this construct at launch for Makara, we've partnered with Gemini, and Gemini acts as the custodial partner where assets are maintained, and as the trading partner where assets are traded on behalf of the user.
So as part of the regulated aspect of your business, what are you permitted to advise on, and what are you not permitted to advise on?
Good question. So the product from a robo-advisory perspective, if you think of traditional robo-advisory, the objective there is identifying risk and building a portfolio that is ordered and tolerated towards your risk tolerance. In this asset class, that doesn't really exist because you've got risky, riskier, and riskiest. So The objective here for us was to identify interests and match these investors' interests with the thematic baskets that are appropriate. So it could be something as simple as concerns around inflation and matching that investor with our inflation hedge basket, which is tokenized gold and Bitcoin 50-50 rebalanced quarterly. Or it could be somebody that's more interested in the entire asset class. They just think it's a fascinating industry and wants exposure in the same way that you can go to the Russell 2000 and get broad-based exposure. Here we offer something called the Universe Basket, which provides risk-weighted exposure to everything that's available on platform. So our objective is to normalize the language. This is no longer a conversation around how do I pick individual coins or how do I trade. This is not a day trading experience. This is an investing experience, and an investing experience across the entire universe of this asset class.